welcome to the first chapter of PMP Digest notes. In this chapter, we will be focusing on the various types of organizations that are existing as per as PMI. So in PMI, focuses on three types of organizations within a company, that is functional organization, projectized organization, and matrix organization. Now, let's look at the first one, that is a functional organization. This is the most common type of organization that you will find in your day-to-day life. In a functional organization, each department is grouped as per their specialization. That is, you have accounts, HR, IT, business, etc., or all grouped as their individual teams. Okay, so this is the most common of organization that you will find in the world. Usually in a functional organization, the role of a PM is absent. You will not find a PM designation. Instead, what they have is something called as a functional manager. So the functional manager does the role of a project manager. The resources tend to be specialized in their own field of expertise. So as you can see, because they fall under the accounts team, the resources will be specialized only in accounts. Your IT team will be specialized only in their IT and their specialization of IT. The PM is absent or has very low power. This is a chart that can actually show and tell you how a functional organization look. If you see, you have a CEO, you have three departments under him, like the HR, the IT, and the manufacturing. Then under the HR, you have that HR organization and the team. Under the IT, you'll have your IT department and the team. And under manufacturing, you'll have the manufacturing department. Now you look at the projectized organization. Here, the teams are formed as per the project needs. The team is dedicated only to the project and its duration. So again, the team members over here do not have a home. Once the project is over, the team members move on to another project where their team members could be the same or different individuals. The PM has the supreme power and takes all decisions. So this is exactly opposite to that of functional. Over here you have a PM and he has utmost power to take decision. Now what is the advantages of a projectized organization? Over here the communication is very strong, mainly because there is less channel of communication. And what is the disadvantages? The team members do not have a home to go to. So once their project is over, either they move on to the next project or they are like left. They go back to the original team that they were working with. This is an example of a projectized structure. Over here, you can see there's a CEO. Under the CEO, you can see there are two project managers. And under the project manager, you have a lead, you have the staff. So over here itself, you might have your accounts person, you might have your HR person, you might have your IT team. Same thing over here. They might have their own semi-teams within themselves. In PMI, there's another form of organization which is called as a matrix. A matrix organization is nothing but it's a combination of both the functional and the projectized, and they are divided into three different levels. We'll get into the levels as we move ahead, but let's look what is the advantages that you get. So the resources are maximized by resource utilization. The communication is better across the organization. What is the disadvantages? As there are two authorities, there may be conflict issues arising. So we'll get into the details of what are the two different types of authorities you find in a matrix organization. There is also burnout in the team because again, there you may have team members doing two or multiple roles. Now, what are the three types of matrix organization? It is weak, balanced, and strong. Weak. In a weak organization is very similar to that of a functional organization. Here you will have the functional manager existing and they have more power than the project manager. The project manager is over here is actually somebody like a project coordinator or a project expediter. Now let's see what's a project expediter. A project expediter is somebody who just passes the communication to the functional manager. He or she will not have any authority to take decisions. Like they are just somebody who will pass the communication, probably do documentation related work, probably take minutes of meetings or something like that. But they will never have an authority to even approve a timesheet, or even decide whether this particular document needs to be checked by a third party or something. So they are just a bridge between the functional manager and the team that is working on the project. Now, what is a project coordinator? The project coordinator may have some authority to take decisions, but will pass on the major decisions to the project manager. So they over here in these kind of roles, the level of authority or decision making that the project coordinator has is very clearly defined at the start of the project. So the functional manager can say things like, okay, maybe it is approval of minutes of meetings, or signing on the minutes of meetings, or maybe in terms of a certain level of authority is given to the project coordinator. So they are able to approve and not approve certain stages in the project, but very major authority or decision taking capacity still lies in the functional manager. Now, what is a balanced matrix? Here, you will have two roles existing at the same time. That is, there will be a functional manager and there will also be a project manager, and they will basically be sharing the responsibilities of the project among themselves. What is a strong matrix? Over here, the project manager has utmost authority. You will not find a functional manager role existing in a strong matrix. So, a strong matrix is very close to that of a projectized matrix. Now, let's look at this table that shows the different level of authority you will find between the functional organization and the projectized organization. Now let's look at the PM. In a functional organization, you will see that the PM is either negligible, or if he's existing at a part-time level. Usually what you'll find is a functional manager. And as we move ahead from the weak to the balanced, you'll see that the role of the project manager is transitioning from negligible to part-time to full-time, and full authority. Same thing, we come down to the decision taking power. You'll see that in a functional matrix, the project manager he's negligible, so he basically doesn't have a decision taking. In a weak matrix, he has low. In a balanced, you have both the functional and the project manager taking the decision. But as we move towards the strong and the projectized, his authority power is a little bit increasing till it is full authority. Now let's look at the team members. When you look at the team members of a functional, usually there is no team. You basically have the accounts team doing their work, and you're giving them a part of the project and saying, do this work and get a return. Same thing with the IT, same thing with the manufacturing. So they all are individually doing different work within the organization. But in a weak matrix, you will have a team that's probably working on a part-time basis. And as we move ahead towards the projectized, you will see that your team member is a more dedicated. So as you come to projectized, you'll tend to have a more dedicated team member that is assigned to you. Let's look at one of the questions based on all the information that is given. Now, you are working in an organization where your team members are from various department, HR, IT, business, etc. You report to your department head and not the project manager, as this role is non-existent. Which organization are you working in? Can you take a look at it and say, will you be working in a projectized, weak matrix, strong matrix, or functional matrix? I'll give you few seconds to think over it. So the answer over here is you will be working in a functional matrix. And the reason is, if you look at that question itself, you report to your departmental head and not the PM, as this role is non-existent. If we go back a few slides, you will see where is the PM's role non-existent. It could be it could be weak matrix, because again a PM is on a part-time basis, or it could be functional. But as they've mentioned, the role is non-existent. From there itself, you can understand that this is a functional organization. So I hope with this I was able to give you the differences between the functional, the matrix, and the projectiles organization. That's it for today, till we meet for the next time. Thank you. So, if you liked what you're watching right now, please do go ahead and press that subscribe button. And don't forget to subscribe to the weekly newsletter by sending an email to bootcamppmi@gmail.com, where I will be sending you weekly tips, tricks, and probably short synopsis on how to go about preparing with your PMP or your ACP or your PBA exams or any of the exams related to the PMI organization. So till then, hope you enjoyed this video, and looking forward to sharing much more videos with you. Thank you. Bye.